Hello and welcome back. We are kicking it off with the Group B of the Esports Empire Thunder Cup Series. My name is DK, and with me, of course, is the ever lovely Highland Wolf. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good today. We're jumping back into now, as you say, Group B, the preliminary stage of the Thunder Cup. And of course, we have already got a little bit of drama here as we start our way in. The initial first match won't be starting just yet, but that also is great because it gives us time here, DK, to talk a little bit about what has been happening with the Thunder Cup so far. And telling you something here, it has been drama filled with a lot of teams who we didn't necessarily expect coming into Group A already qualifying for the grand finals, and in Group B that looks even more stacked than last week.
Yeah, and of course it is going to be pretty exciting to see what the teams are going to be getting up to. Of course, only 7 teams qualify to move through in towards the grand final. So we have already seen the teams there from Group A bash it out and play to get into those qualifying positions. But now, for the next 3 days, the teams are going to be going head to head over 4 matches, fighting it out, looking to claim the title, and of course, looking to claim the slots to move up in towards those grand finals. And of course, they're playing for a nice prize pool as well. Of course, the team that takes the victory, there is $1,000 up for grabs. And of course, for the grand finals, there's $1,500 up for grabs.
Big fat dollars there for those teams, DK, when it comes to getting in that top place. And we've already seen how competitive it can be to get that prize money with the likes of, as we say, surprise teams, ITBF dominator Buram coming up strong in last week, even 21 Esports in that 3rd position going into that final day. But when it also comes into now this week, I was expecting initially it would be these hard-hitting names like what we saw with 4 Angry Men last week that would prevail, but it actually wasn't the case. So even when you look at so many teams here, Nova, ZEUS, A1, FaZe CLAN, yes, they are strong household names of the PUBG world, but on the other hand, there are so many of these names that we don't really know what they can bring, and that's what's the exciting thing about it. There is new, fresh talent coming in.
Yeah, it's always exciting to see exactly what the teams get up to, and what better way to do it, what better way to get some good exposure as to taking part in these series. You know, especially Thunder Cup series is a good, let's call it an introduction to the teams up onto the bigger scenes, getting themselves to face off against teams that have a really well-known name. You know, as we've already mentioned, Nova, ZEUS, we've got the players coming in there from FaZe. We've got quite a few big names in the mix. Of course, it's going to be quite exciting to see exactly how the teams are going to be performing, and of course, who will be moving through onto the next phase.
When we do look at that next phase, keep in mind not only the 7 qualifiers of that Group A, the 7 qualifiers of Group B, but still to be determined who will be those 2 invitees coming into the grand final as well there, DK. So whoever they are, clearly going to be pretty darn stacked roster to go up against, to be able to handle the pressure that is coming out from this group stage already. And when we look going into this first game, and when we look at how much more diverse actually I would say Group B is, including now even teams from the USA with Nova Esports, including even more of those Indian teams of REVENANT and RAPTORS, even teams over from Nigeria and from Africa region with Illuminate. So we do get to see a lot more diversity overall with this group. And what that also means coming into this week of games, it also means that we get to see a clash of play styles, which will be interesting to see how teams will adapt to team fights and to rotations that aren't necessarily what they're used to in their own region.
Yeah, it's always exciting to see the nice mix-up across the continents coming in up into the mix. And of course, you know, it's going to be pretty exciting, pretty spicy to see what exactly the map will deliver as we now head back up into the lobby to see exactly where the flight path is going to be taking us, and of course also where that first initial zone is going to be forming. As we've seen in past matches, you know, as that zone starts moving, the teams really come up with some interesting rotations, some interesting strats to get back up into those positions to try and capitalize and, of course, bring in those chicken dinners.
Well, what we started to, of course, see was these teams very much holding on for the latest moment possible in Group A. And that's also testament there to also the way that the likes of these teams do play passively from the Indian side teams, where we did look towards the likes of ITBF holding on. We didn't see them be as aggressive, but then they also, as the week went through, started to become more aggressive. And that's something that I really want to see these teams who are wanting to match the likes of top in Group A be able to adapt to, because you can't just stick to your own play style when you are going up against such a diverse lobby. You have to be able to adapt, and it's adaptiveness, a quick pace of adaptiveness is what we're really looking for to be able to get those points on board if it isn't working with your own play style that you're coming in with game one.
Yeah, and of course, we're looking for that versatility, looking to see what the teams can bring. And as we look into the lobby to see who we have right here, of course, this is a very interesting lineup. We have the likes of, as you mentioned already, Nova Esports, we've got ZEUS, we've got the DRS Gaming, we've got the BANGKRIRK Esports team as well, we've got the Infinities playing, we've got FaZe CLAN, A1 Esports, as well as Seal 9. Then also the DEWA United. We've got Revenant Esports, Raptors, Joining Me Black. We've got Team TAMILAS. TAMILAS. There we go, my bad. We've got a Beta Sentinel. We've got SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, as well as then, of course, the players coming in there from the Illuminate, Team MYM, and AKUMA KITSUNE. So quite a bit of exciting potential players we can see coming in with this first flight path, looking very decent.
Yeah, going to be this essential playing path all the way through Wrangles. So going to also be able to be great to see where these teams look to drop. Of course, knowing that a lot of these spaces on the map only likes those far reaches of the northeast to southwest, kind of out of play in this first phase zone for these squads. However, also looking at now when we do think the aggressiveness of some of these teams, and what we were surprised by going into the previous week, DK, was actually how aggressive teams were willing to be on those initial rotations, and if we get to see that once again, because depending of course where this zone goes, that will determine a lot if these teams do wish to play respectful for the first game while they try to figure out play style, while they figure out of course how these teams will end up playing in terms of pace of the game. But I think we will start to see, as especially today goes through, a little bit more of that aggression, a little bit more of that fast-paced gameplay that we do expect, coupled that by the fact that we see a very southern phase 1 zone going towards the South Island, over towards that southwestern side, should I say, where that plane path did not go, means that we do have to, of course, expect, even in this first game as a result, maybe some of that aggression coming through.
Yeah, and this, of course, is going to be a very, very exciting match, looking into that super aggressive shift coming in from the zone. But, of course, the teams already starting with the aggression, as we can see right up in towards Pachinki. The hits already finding their way on through, as we got the players here from Join Me Black right there up alongside the DEWA Uniteds. And now we're going to be looking to see whether or not the players from Join Me Black will be able to move in and close it up onto the side there, of course, of DEWA, as they've already been able to put in quite a bit of damage onto the side of DEWA.
You can see there, unfortunately, though, for DEWA, they are now, because they go for that kill together as a two-man. Whereas Join Me Black, they do have a little bit more diversity in their playstyle, as well as FaZe CLAN. They're also going to land a few of their own pot shots initially over towards that South Georgia Pole side, so they're going to be able to clean up alongside their Galaxy Racer onto Nova, which is, I think, a bigger surprise here. That Galaxy Racer, we knew how good this team could be coming out of the PMPL Arabia, barely didn't make it into the EMEA League, and this is their chance to shine now, coming back into another tournament, especially against much, much higher teams around a much more international stage.
Yeah, and of course, things are just heating up all across the map as we look to see what the map is bringing. And of course, so many teams in such close contention right there alongside each other. And of course, we're looking to see just where the aggression is going to start building, as the teams will be looking to start rotating up in towards that zone, looking for that positional play. And of course, now the hits are just flying through one after the other as we see quite a bit of action up in towards the Georgia Bull crates.
When we said about Georgia Bull crates, of course, it is also going to be around that south side opposite, going towards the South Islanders of Novka. You even see the likes of, nevertheless, REVENANT Esports almost losing one, but they were able to return it back into 2 kills, taking down what was 2 of the members of Team Mayhem. So they are already going to be struggling. Yep, yes, they are inside the zone, so that will work out for them on the other hand. But of course, looking back towards these teams, as you do say, like FaZe coming outside of the zone, FaZe number 1, an interesting position for them to come in from. I would expect a lot of these teams coming out from Georgia Bull to go for those wider rotations, potentially even one of them to head towards Primorsk or Therapy in anticipation of making a wide rotation towards that south side, coming from that south beach itself onto Sovnovka military base, but also potentially looking at even some of those teams trying to counter that idea and going straight down through the Gatka fields as well, which a lot of these teams might not be willing to go for. As you can see in this position of the map, that Gatka field space completely open and a much quicker rotation for these teams if they're risking to take that.
Yeah, of course, now as we jump in towards the Sosnovka military island, we see the hits, the action unfolding between the side of Illuminate and of course the players there from the Infinity. So quite a few shots already finding their way on through, not getting the knocks just yet. But of course, now we see Johnny getting knocked out as he is found out in the open. Quick few hits following on through, but now we look to see what the rest of the team will be doing. Will we see them move up and looking to try and defend their player, potentially looking to pick up that res? Because we see the players from Infinity showing a little bit of aggression there, showing the strategic maneuvers, but now will they be able to follow up with that?
Even Beta Sentinel as well, finding one on the Galaxy Racer in that kill feed. DK finding out XMJ, and Ultron also left on their own as Beta Sentinel will now decide to roam their way in just south of Pachinki. Ultron does get a buggy in, should be able to escape, and this is crucial if Ultron can be able to evade fire here. Understanding that Ultron, one of those core fraggers coming out from Galaxy Racer, already going to be knocked down though as a result. And unfortunately for the Galaxy Racers themselves, 2 down, 2 out, and no real way across now, being pinned between the middle of those 2 bridges on the south side.
Oh, and of course, expecting things to only get tougher as the teams progress forward, looking to find those positional plays, looking to find that setup within the zone. And as we now just jump across the water, up over towards the players here from Beta Sentinel, we see the shots come flying over towards them. Of course, now the players here from Team Tamilas looking to apply the aggression, looking to find their hits, and of course that is it. Is it Galaxy Racer or Team Tamilas?
Galaxy Racer, they're out, unfortunately, there for them here. DK Beta do find a clean sweep out. They keep all 4 players alive, and even around, as you say, in Pachinki, you see more of them falling down. Join Me Black just down to the solo player of Medraven. And when you look at also Join Me Black's play around Pachinki, is actually the heads-up play from them to try go in initially for that 2v3 situation. However, because they also allowed that 3rd member from DEWA United to finally get back into the play of that earlier rotation into Pachinki, it actually does result out in the side of DEWA being able, as a result, to then have that extra player rotate around the backside, and they catch out Join Me Black on a rotation outside of Pachinki. They're able to cut them off, and they're able to come in when they have the panic called down.
So many rotations now just finding their way on through as the teams are looking to get set up within that zone, looking to make those plays. Now, this is where we see some interesting engagements come on through, of course, as we have the players here from DEWA stepping right on in, looking to pick up the shots on towards AKUMA. Now, will they be able to get it, though? A quick, brief engagement coming through. They've already lost their 1 player, as you've mentioned before. But now they seem to be looking to apply the pressure, looking to find the engagements up ahead, and at the same time looking to improve their position within the zone.
And when it comes to that position in the zone, you have to, of course, look towards these bridges, which are already both being gate-kept, not only on, of course, this eastern side, by those members of Revenant, but also on this western bridge when you actually look towards the team of A1, already set up, I think, even stronger than that on the east, where we have multiple members on each end of the bridge as well to make sure they can catch people when they are already beginning to cross, not even when they're on the bridge itself.
Well, this is going to be interesting to see as we now have the players from DEWA United pushing up onto the side of the Beta Sentinels, looking to send quite a few utils over in towards them to find the opening, and if they can't find it, they will force an opening, looking to find the damage, looking to turn up the hit. But of course now the players here from the Sentinels are just sending up a beautiful few nades in return, in retaliation. Was a beautiful exchange coming now in between these two teams, but we've got several more looking to move up as we see the players there from Seal now just right behind them. Seal 9 looking to push up in towards that zone, but Beta now looking to just come in with that offside angle as they send the hits on through once again. Now Oki having quite a bit of pressure as the players here from Beta keep on applying the pressure.
Silic with already 4 kills in this game here. DK is putting out the work. Also Alpha 1, they're able to find a beautiful pick, as we said, onto those members of the side of AKUMA KITSUNE, who did not be able to get out from underneath that western side bridge. They got caught on the edge. Now AKUMA, unfortunately, as we already said, down to just 2 members. There goes also Dante from A1, who were also going to be down to just 2 as well. Finally, their KTS going to be the solo player for AKUMA. So as a result, it is still a positive exchange for A1. But as we said previously, they had a strong position on that bridge, but the one thing that didn't go for them in their way was actually planning for that third party behind them, and the Affinity wiped those extra 2 members from A1 out, who as a result now have the better gatekeep over on that bridge, catching out all of those teams who do wish to rotate around that side. Still many more to do so, including FaZe CLAN also have to back crossing.
And I mean, the action is still unfolding up in the north as the teams are still going at it, looking to close up these engagements, looking to bring in those points. And of course, as we see DEWA now just come strafing on through, but meeting a very abrupt end as the Beta Sentinels send the hits on through. And of course, that zone has centered up once again over down on towards the Sosnovka Island. So definitely expecting quite a few interesting plays as these teams, as you've mentioned, of course, are looking to cross over the bridge.
All about 40% of that zone has now been moved through into the ocean, and this is the type of zones I love, DK, where we had to see these teams really pile in onto each other, where even the phase 2 feels like you're coming into the late game end moments of the map, where there is just nowhere to hide, nowhere to run. I do appreciate also the positioning coming potentially out in future from SKYLIGHTZ Gaming on the south side of Vastovnovka military base, who actually could now set up moving around the edge of that coastal line towards the hills. They actually have a lot of potential if they're willing to go a little bit more aggressively to be able to gatekeep even more if it does continue to go towards that southwestern side, but also looking towards that South Island itself. And those teams crossing in, as we said, FaZe CLAN, they now make the rotation in, but there is still even more gatekeeping at bridge, and that's why you see FaZe CLAN, smart decision to adapt there, rove those buggies into the water, seeing that there's no real way across that bridge.
Of course, we see those shots just come flying through there from the Infinity team, claiming a few more points, but now, as you've mentioned, FaZe looking to make a play from up on the north of the bridge, sending the shots on through over towards the KITSUNE team just positioned on that bridge. So it is going to be quite challenging, especially there for the AKUMA KITSUNE team, to make a decent play as they have the pressure coming in from FaZe. And they have to be careful, because if they move over too quickly, there are several teams waiting just on the southern end of the bridge, looking to set them up and send the shots through.
And we said about that western bridge, but look at the amount of bodies that are hitting up inside that blue zone on the eastern side. Phase number 2, and they're all trapped inside the blue zone. Yes, it's not going to do too much damage, but it's certainly going to hurt with time. ZEUS as well need to get their way across that bridge somehow, some way, including the likes of DRS, but they're all gatekeeping each other, and even Nova on that bridge itself, all gate kept, of course, nevertheless, by the side of Revenant, doing a fantastic job to stop all of these teams on the east.
Yeah, and of course now we see the side here of Revenant looking to move on up, picking that shot on towards the side there of Syphan. And of course things are looking pretty tough now for the players there from Nova, as their numbers are being reduced one by one, getting taken down. But now the teams, again, are looking to push even further up in towards the zone, as we have yet another southern shift coming in on the zone.
Oh, we're going to go towards the Novka military base here, DK. I am super hyped to see how this one will go, because of Novka, there's 0 teams inside the compound. These players are not willing to go inside, understanding that they could potentially then get caught and stuck inside the remainder of this zone. Keep in mind, this zone still is also alive towards the very south parts of Sovnovka as well. So those forest regions going into the beachfront on that south end still very much open to play, and actually majority of that zone is there.
Yeah, and of course now speaking about the zone, we see the players here from ZEUS looking to still push across on up onto that island. Of course, Nova getting left behind back in the blue, but the shots now finding their way on through, as we have the engagement there from Revenant firing on it to the side of ZEUS. But of course we can see the blue zone now starting to just obliterate the players as it's pushing further forward. The teams are facing the challenge. They're facing that extra complexity coming in with the damage of the blue zone. 13 teams though still remain. Such an immense amount of players looking to squeeze into that zone.
Still 5 of those teams inside the blue zone, but when you look towards those inside the play area, it's actually the beautiful setup from SKYLIGHTZ. We said the potential to get a strong position in zone. They're overlooking those cliffs from the south side. Yes, they're not in the center of zone, but they're overlooking that entire beachfront. They're overlooking military base as well. So they're going to have a great vision advantage over a lot of the rest of these teams in the high ground advantage. The only question is if they leave this too long to be able to dismount, if it does go towards that northeastern side on a hard shift for this next phase. And that's something that also the side of SKYLIGHTZ do need to be prepared for. You saw they were sending initially one of their members of Clary OP down towards that south beachfront to prepare for that. However, understanding that there was a team already set up there, they decided to go back as a 4-man squad.
And I mean, of course, so many teams, as you've mentioned, still looking to push further on up through the blue and then into the zone. So quite a bit of pressure still awaits as the teams are looking to push further and further through this. And of course, if we now look over on it towards that western bridge, this is where things are looking exceptionally difficult. I mean, we got Gary, Striker, and the rest of the team here all looking to make a play, make a stand, and get up in towards the zone. But they are fighting the blue. We are now moving up in towards our 4th phase, and it continues with an absolutely brutal shift just further down towards the south. The zone is broken here, Wolf.
And it's not even inside the zone that I'm looking at here. I'm looking at a beautiful fight coming through between also the side of Beta Sentinel and also BANGKRIRK, who are still inside phase 4, as you say, trying to outlive each other. And the solo player of Slowick is also trying to defend against those 3 members to hold up in the zone for their team. Is doing well enough for now, has found another one of those beta members. However, it is both of them eventually with time who are going to fall down to the blue zone. And we look towards their south side as well. Now joining up onto those cliff sides, Seal9 joining up with SKYLIGHTZ. And this is a very much a priority position that SKYLIGHTZ do control indeed. And it's up to now see how SKYLIGHTZ, who have been quiet all game here, DK, if they can defend that spot. Have taken down 1 knock onto the Seal9 members, but the rest of those 2 members up and personal in the front side.
Oh, and of course, right as we jump on towards Seal 9, we see them positioned in the tough setup there. But of course, the shots now finding their way on through onto the side there of SKYLIGHTZ Gaming. So already a difficult position to fight in. But of course, with so many teams still remaining, things are not going to get easier for the next few moments, as the teams are all looking to still, one, get out of the blue zone and then get a good position within the zone. The teams we already see positioned within zone are so beautifully set up. It is going to be an absolute mountain of a challenge to get into the zone and secure a good position.
And you look at that mountain itself, Amber going for that wide flank there onto that final SKYLIGHTZ Gaming member up front of Joker. Still, they also have side of Boleang in the back line, but inside the smoke, there's going to be no vision control coming through from them. In the meantime, only going to be the audio cues coming out from Seal 9 that will be available to them. Clary of the offside has also been knocked, so they don't have that third party member to be able to survive inside the zone if it does go for that wide shift. Yes, some of it inside the ocean, but I think actually a shift back towards that mainland could be even tougher for these teams, judging by all of them having to get through that south side plains. But it is going to be shifting nevertheless into those very open, flat south end of Sovnovka, and the only compound left controlled by Team Mayhem, who have been sat quietly waiting, potentially with that compound could steal this game.
It's definitely going to be interesting to see how the teams are going to try push on into this, as we now of course see several of the players starting to succumb to the zone. The damage just being absolutely brutal, and of course now SKYLIGHTZ Gaming looking to make their final stand, as we see the players here from Seal 9 looking to push up, and of course they pick it up, sending them right back into the lobby. But now FaZe getting ready to bounce on the third party action as they come swooping in, looking to seal it up for the players from Seal 9. So quite a bit of pressure still on the outskirts of the zone, as the teams are now looking to come in with those absolutely clutch plays. And of course, it is looking pretty tough for the side of Seal 9.
The Seals are getting beached by FaZe CLAN. Two more go down. Only Amara squirming and flopping their way as a solo player for the rest of this game. But outside the zone, gate kept by all of the FaZe members. This is difficult indeed. FaZe coming in from that south side were patient enough to wait for Seal, for SKYLIGHTZ to fight it out. Clean up is that third party, and now set up in one of the strongest entrances into this zone. But it is on that western side, still even more going on between, of course, even more of the side of TT heading up against now even the likes of A1 falling down.
Oh, I mean, and the shots are just going to continue flying on, as 8 teams now remain to fight it out for that chicken dinner, ready to go head to head, toe to toe. Get ready for the shuffle, get ready for the action, as we see the shots now come in there from Seal 9 in the kill feed. And of course, the players are still looking to squeeze back on up in towards the zone, as we have the players just barely making it into the zone here on the side, of course, for the players from Revenant. They are now down to their final player, looking to just try and pop in enough health to get back up into zone securely. But now as we head on over towards the eastern side, this is where things get pretty hairy, as we got DRS looking to set themselves up on the edge. Of course, ZEUS right in front of them. It is going to be absolutely insane.
Team TAMILAS here coming in from that western side, as FaZe CLAN will wipe out the final seal of the match. But on the east, as you said as well, it is all between ZEUS trying to enter their way in, hold off DRS, hold off the likes of Team Mayhem, who have been trying their best to control this zone. But ZEUS, they wrap around. ZEUS, they lose one member, though, down to just 2. Well, Annabelle, and just like that, DK, the grenades, the vehicles just proved too much.
Wow. I mean, that was a beautiful play coming in there from from the guys there from Team Mayhem, as well as the players, of course, applying the pressure just on the side here, sending the shots on through. That, of course, being the players from DRS Gaming. Some absolutely phenomenal nades, just sending it up into the side of ZEUS, and of course, back they go to wait for the next match. But this is now where things get pretty tough for the side of Team Mayhem. They are isolated on the edge, up against the side of DRS. And DRS, they've tasted blood. They are looking to pick up the last few points as they progress up into this final few zones.
DRS, they're making their stand now as they enter in, but it is the side of Team Mayhem who find the initial knock.
Oh, here we go. Sensei now looking to clean it up. Finds the one confirm, and of course now 2 more players remain. Mafia Ninja just lying in the edge. Oh, but sends the shots in towards Sensei. Now we're looking to see what M4 will be doing. Will he be able to close this up? AJ and of course Mafia Ninja just lying in wait. But FaZe now positioning themselves absolutely beautifully in the zone as the mollies come flying onto the side here of M4. Wow, there we go. Down it is. And of course AJ coming in with a beautiful nade to find the hit points on the board there for DRS. The final 3 teams now left to fight it out for that chicken, of course. That is the side of DRS. It is FaZe as well, of course, as Revenant Esports, who's down to a solo.
Revenant still surviving in this game as a solo player, but FaZe, they are the ones here who control this zone. The smoke road has now been laid out by the side of DRS. They hold their ground for now, snaking in, but it is no knocks for the meantime. The blue zone phase 7 catching their tails behind them. DRS, they do look like they are in a pinch here, DK. They have to still keep on moving, though, into the waiting arms of FaZe CLAN, who surely, with this split, secure the first chicken dinner.
I mean, this is where it is going to be absolutely brutal. The teams now all just looking to find that setup, looking to find that position. FaZe coming in 3 players strong, and of course with that, that guy gets up, finds the shots right into the side there, of course, of the players from Revenant, ending the match for them. And now it is DRS and FaZe left to battle it out for the chicken dinner on our first map here.
Revenant going out now, only FaZe holding still firm against DRS. DRS, they're not losing a single member for now. FaZe quick dip behind the buggy, but that should secure it. The initial knock-in, DRS down to a solo.
Yep. And it is the end right there. FaZe comes swooping in, claiming the chicken dinner, and doing so in phenomenal style, finishing off on 13 kills. Absolutely insane finish coming in from FaZe. And of course, DRS bringing in a decent, strong performance as well. Finishing up in 2nd place, coming in on 7 kills. Absolutely phenomenal stuff. And of course, we have the team then coming into the final spot there in 3rd. Of course, being the players from Revenant Esports. So absolutely brutal zone that we've been seeing. That shift just continuing further and further south.
FaZe, they come in from the behind side, they're able to third party behind Seal, behind SKYLIGHTZ to grab that hilltop. They enter in using that strength, the high ground. They take control of the hill. They split over those still crossing that road on the northern end of that phase. And FaZe themselves coming in what was a very tricky rotation. The patience coming through from them in particular there, that was what secured them that chicken dinner. A lot of these teams with those kill feeds, with that aggression, went in first, but it is, as you can see, even DRS, that 2nd place team, who also played patiently. One of those 5 teams we said inside that blue zone by the end of that phase 3. Yes, it is still going to hurt that you're inside that blue zone by the end of phase 3, but in this specific situation, with so many teams gatekeeping over that bridge, it does make sense to wait, and as you can see, it pulls off for both of them.
I mean, absolutely insane matchup that we had coming into our first round. And of course, this is the way that you kick off the first match, with absolute aggression, absolutely beautiful play. And the team's really just stepping up and delivering on that front. Of course, now we're going to get ready to move into our second match, which will be taking us over on towards Miramar. So be sure to stay tuned as we are back right after the break with some crazy, crazy sand dune action. Hello and welcome back to the Thunder Cup. This, of course, is the prelims over for the players here for Group B. And we've already seen in our first match quite a bit of aggression coming in on Erangel. Of course, my name is DK, and with me is the ever-lovely Highland Wolf. And of course, we're going to be taking you through the action. Wolf, what are we expecting to see on Miramar?
Expecting a lot of surprises considering what we've already witnessed in the first game. FaZe CLAN coming through with a chicken dinner, 13 kills on top. A beautiful start to the competition for them, but also DRS coming up clutch. They're one of the more unknown teams compared to the rest of those big stack names. Lobby coming up in second with 7 kill points. Revenant there too in third with 6 kill points as well. And it was also the surprise to see, as we mentioned, those big names like Nova, like ZEUS, not quite being able to make it to those final few zones.
Well, it is going to be exciting to see, of course, what the teams bring as we move into our second match. And, of course, what that flight path and zone is going to be doing. It is always quite exciting to see what Miramar holds. And I'm so keen to see what this map itself will be bringing as the teams are going to be heading into our first visit on Miramar. This, of course, being day one of the Group B round, the prelims. 7 teams qualify up in towards the grand final. So quite a bit on the line here. And of course, looking to see just how hard the teams are going to be bringing it, looking at our flight path. Coming in there from Campo Militar and of course heading down south of Los Leon. So a very easterly flight path that is going to be especially tricky for the teams that like to frequent the west. They're going to have a little bit of a challenge on their hands. But of course, I'm pretty sure that the teams are up for the challenge. They've already got those alternate drop locations figured out and they're heading right up towards them.
You already see DRS heading towards Triamata. If only they would go a little bit further towards Oasis, so we finally get to see some form of life in the water at the top of the desert. But it is, of course, a very interesting playing path nevertheless, for the fact of how easterly it is here, DK, in the fact that when you draw that line to where these teams can actually realistically drop, it goes no further than the likes of Happy and Patron, down to Picardo, down towards even the eastern end of Chumacera. There's not that much space initially open to these teams compared to how big Miramar is as a map. So as a result, do expect once again these early skirmishes to come through, and we can already see teams, especially even around El Azahar as well, the likes of now Team 10, DEWA United, also joined up there by ZEUS around this northeastern compound. And complementing that in some way is the zone here as well, DK. But on the other end, we could still expect that zone to go towards the western side. We could still expect hard shifts, and these teams definitely going to have that set in their mind, considering what we just saw in the first match was a very hard shift indeed towards the south of that South Island.
Yeah, of course, now we're going to be looking to see how exactly the players here from DEWA United and ZEUS are going to be battling it out for control of El Azahar. And of course, they're looking to bring in those rotations, looking to find a good setup in the coming few phases. But of course, first the teams have to get over their first few hurdles. One now, of course, being here for the side of the players from DEWA United. They are looking to get over the hurdle of ZEUS, and already the shots are starting to line up in the guild feeders. The teams are getting into these engagements, of course. That is what we want to see. We want to see the early game aggression finding its way on through, and so many teams dropping very, very close together.
Unfortunately for Join Me Black as well, already going to now drop down to just 3 members. They've lost 1 to FaZe CLAN. They're moving in now to Picardo, trying to clean up the rest. It is a 1-2 split for Join Me Black, but they do have to recoup together as a 3-man party, because it is going to end up with a, of course, 2v3 disadvantage, all up to then the likes of Milov Teav to be able to gatekeep away those surrounding incoming players. But as well, even more as you see in the kill feed, SKYLIGHTZ Gaming also getting caught out around this Chumacera side.
Oh, and I mean, so many hits just coming in from all directions. As we now jump up in towards Picardo, we see the players here from FaZe, as you've mentioned, looking to find their engagements on to the side here of the players from Join Me Black. And of course, Join Me Black position up in towards that blue bottom. So it is a good position for them to be in. But FaZe, they're going to be looking to apply the pressure. They're going to be looking to find them out and send the hurt straight towards them.
Team TAMILAS already surrounding now Raptors. They have now their claws extended inside the church, praying for that knock onto Ultron to buy themselves some time. But it is Ultron skirming their way around the roof side, making it so tricky for the Raptors, and still the rest of those TAMILAS members moving their way in. But it is that ridge line that they have to control. You see Prelims holding on for one side of the church, but on the other, Freaky trying to find Ultron, but that vision all too much for them. Maybe they go up top of the bell tower, but Ultron in a wait line.
Oh, so much pressure as the teams are just going absolutely crazy. So many engagements finding their way on through now. As we look on to the side here of the Raptors, they are looking to find the shots over in towards Galaxy Racer. Galaxy Racer, as we've seen, already bringing the pain, bringing those positional plays in the first map, of course, on towards Erangel. Now we look to see what Max Cash and MJ will be doing as they now look to hold on to the zone as long as possible, as Ultron, of course, gets sent back. And now they are reduced down to only 2 players.
Unfortunately for them, as we said, they tried to go across that ridgeline into the church, but because also you even have Beta Sentinel now coming in as that third party, we said how dastardly those third party teams can be, and for Beta Sentinel now moving in behind them, they have a great setup in that 1-1 split, actually 1-2 split, should I apologies say. They can take out Max Cash, they can take out Sentinels in comfort with that man advantage, and then be able to set up on a long rotation round if they would like past Chumacera and try to actually cut off Raptors in a later point in the game, coming from the northwestern end of Chumacera into the zone if need be.
Oh, I mean, it is going to be an absolutely spicy match to see how the teams are going to try and find their way on through. Of course, now looking onto the side here of SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, they're looking to improve their overall positioning down to only 2-man team. Once again, so many teams already suffering in the early phases of this game. But of course, now the hits are not going to be stopping anytime soon, as we can see the kill feed once again getting lit up as the teams start exchanging the hits. They start exchanging the engagements, and of course, this is now where we wait to see exactly how all of this will unfold, as the teams are just bringing the pressure wave after wave.
AKUMA also stuck now between Team MAYHEM, and also behind them, you can't even see Illuminate holding on for now in Los Leones. But for AKUMA KITSUNE, they already down to just 2 players. They struggled in the previous match, and we worry now about their momentum. They weren't able now to find even anything off of that third knock that had been received down into them. 1-for-1 trade, but against a 4-man party, AKUMA, they could be looking to be the first team out of this lobby.
Well, now we wait to see exactly how far AKUMA will be able to make it through this. Of course, now we have the team starting to push on in that B. The players there for MAYHEM, and they are causing so much mayhem now as they send them backing. But of course, well, they're not out of the woods just yet. Right behind them, we have Illuminate. Johnny just sitting in wait, looking to see if they can push up and find those angles on a potential third party right back on it to the side there of MAYHEM, looking to cause a little bit of their own mayhem now.
ZEUS as well, they're falling out DK, so ZEUS for another time round, also struggling now on Miramar, but as we said already, Illuminate also setting up shop in Los Leones too, can try to third party that, but because there is a little bit of distance, there are a few buildings between them, shouldn't be the case, and it should also be the side of MAYHEM being able to move their way out from the north side of Los Leones, being able to reposition with those 4 kills that they have picked up. A brilliant showing from MAYHEM to not lose a single player in that engagement. But when we also look towards MAYHEM having to go in this map, they move out north from Los Leones, and they do have a little bit of a tricky position on their hands. They've got to get past Nova, they've got to get past even those teams heading out of Picardo, like FaZe, like Johnny Black, who are all going to be positioning around that Death Valley section between Picardo and Chumacero, where it is more open, where it is more flat. And because that is such a prominent space in already this Phase 2 zone, it does restrict a lot of the movement of these players, and already having to make that decision if they want to stay on that northern side and try to play around that high ground of Picardo Hills, or if they do want to go from the south side and try to play for a little bit more of a conservative, more flat, open game for themselves. Try pick off members surrounding them and trying to come in as well.
Well, it's definitely going to be quite exciting. Looking at where that zone has gone, moving all the way down now, yet again into the south. Now, this is where the teams are going to have an absolute challenge on their hands. As we can see already, quite a few teams beautifully set up in a smack dab center position. Of course, that being the side there of Join Me alongside several others who are now looking to improve their angles. But of course, a few teams still on the outlying regions of that zone, looking now to rotate all the way back in. And it's going to be interesting to see where exactly they choose to go as they start moving in. And now Join Me up in towards Picardo, looking to stay here as long as they can, seeing that they've got such a beautiful position already in the zone.
They were United, they could come in over towards La Bendita, they could also equally come through onto Graveyard. There's high ground options for them there, DK, but as well as we said towards those teams on the western end, and particularly looking towards Infinity and also second place team of the first game, DRS, moving towards really those lateral area hillsides towards the southwest of this zone in particular, and as we said, also that potential to conservatively move your way in onto more open zone, potentially heading into Phase 3, Phase 4, if that zone does centralize. So also heading up the edge of the zone in particular, away from where the majority of this contention will be. Of course, judging previously by that plane path having dropped so easterly, these western teams looking with their current position on the map to try play that conservative style.
I mean, but now the question comes, is it a feasible approach to play a conservative game? Looking at the amount of sheer aggression we've been seeing coming in from the teams just throughout the game so far, is it going to be a feasible approach? Will the teams be able to capitalize on that and work it into their advantage? As we can see, of course, now the players here from FaZe looking to apply the pressure once again onto the players from Join Me, as we have Tony K now just pushing through the compound, clearing it out. But Join Me now having their numbers severely reduced. Looking pretty tough.
Join Me Black. Unfortunate for them, DK. They've already lost 2 members now in this second game. They had a miserable first match as well, with FaZe looking to end it quickly as if through 3-man send it into the final potential member, lying in wait. TOEV holding on for now.
Oh, come on. Come on. Let's see, will Lulu be able to make anything out of this? Lulu Tiav now caught in a very compromising position. I can even feel the pressure, the angst coming in from this side, just looking at it. I mean, I don't even want to think of what the feeling is on the side here of Join Me Black, as they've not been able to find any kills just yet. And now, with FaZe frantically searching through all the compounds, looking to find it and, of course, close it up. Oh, the trigger discipline comes in, but, FaZe. Tony K just steps on up and claims the wipe, and, of course, sending them right back into the lobby. But now, we are left with 15 teams looking to find a decent setup once again. But now as we jump onto the side of the players from SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, they are starting to take the engagement here with Seal9 and finding quite a few beautiful shots now. As you can see, Senor taking quite a bit of damage there. Was it Seno? Whichever way. Joker not wasting any time, sending out those utils, picking up their hits. And of course now looking to get that squad wipe.
I mean, that's a beautiful word. When we go back to that previous match, I've not heard for a while, actually, when we take out addiction, when we take out the thesaurus angst. I mean, to use that word there, DK, I mean, that's a beautiful word indeed.
Yes. I mean, it's the words, they just come to me, they just come to mind. Don't expect too much of it, though. I mean, it doesn't happen too often, but hey, you gotta do it at some point.
Nevertheless, though, some point here, SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, they did have to hold on. They're holding on indeed for now. Look of the far side, though. It's not SKYLIGHTZ Gaming. Yes, they clean it up with their final few kills. But it's also there, the members from REVENANT, the long range, able to assassinate over their third-party opponents and giving actually SKYLIGHTZ DK a chance in this game. 2 members remaining. Do have to be careful of that third party. They did just come through, but nevertheless, it's REVENANT do rotate through that roadside in zone, giving them the opportunity to live.
Well, that is what they're all essentially fighting for, right? They're fighting for that opportunity to live all the way through up into the final zone. I mean, then it's fine. Then it's like, okay, cool, right? Someone's got to take the chicken. Someone needs it. Someone needs to have it. And that's just the way the cookie crumbles. But of course, now we're going to be looking to see how these cookies are going to be crumbling as we have the players here from TAMILAS now pushing on in, applying the pressure, and of course looking to do a clean sweep as they make their way up in towards that zone.
And when we all said about that conservative style of play, Infinity now being surrounded in one way or another by DRS, but DRS's scout will fall down. Mafia Ninja will now no longer be the head of that Mafia party. They will have to fall down, will have to be assassinated by the Infinity Mafia, no less, as they will close in on their kill. But behind them, here comes the rest of the coup. DRS, the 3 members in behind the solo, who said might have to be careful of who done it. Members of DRS are holding up for now, do have eyes on target, but can't quite find that solo player. That ridgeline beautifully played by Huseed, holding on for now with that ridgeline, just not quite the angle fit side of DRS need.
Of course, now Nia looking to get pretty near. Pretty up close and personal, you know, tapping away with a few long range shots there, not finding them through just yet. Of course, we did see the knock come onto the side here over the players from DRS, but now this is where the challenge comes for them, as they are now reduced down to 3, potentially 2, depending on how this engagement goes. But of course, now as Mr. Borrow here is trying to borrow some time to get back up to his teammate, he's facing quite a bit of a challenge here, as we can see, of course, Nima just slowly bleeding out, and AJ also now looking to just fend off the players from Infinity.
DRS, unfortunately for them, they tried to go in, tried to make a scout, but as you say, it's Infinity diving on in.
Oh, and definitely, I mean, they're not even diving, they come flying in to this engagement as Borrow now once again looks to make a final stand for the team. But here we go, Infinity. Oh, finds a quick shot up into the side there, of course. Finding one, but now will Borrow be able to get through this? No. Infinity says no, you shall not pass. And Near, as well as Who Said, just wrapping up the fight, finding their hits, and of course, back they go into the lobby. But now, 12 teams still remain. The zone is absolutely tiny. There isn't enough space for everyone to squeeze on up into this. But I can promise you, they are going to try, as we see now, of course, the players here from the Raptors looking to find a good setup, a good anchor point within the zone over in towards Picardo.
And look at where it has gone, as you say, Picardo and FaZe CLAN braving Picardo to stay inside of the compound. Now, FaZe CLAN, they do hold on for now. They've already, of course, wiped out Johnny Black. 2 inside a compound itself, but much would have preferred FaZe CLAN to be able to move along to those hillsides, even towards the east. Yes, of course, that northern end has already been compromised by a team in the moment, so actually FaZe CLAN, they do hold on against one of Raptors, and this is crucial for them to be able to pick off these members as they do come in, because if they are able to surround FaZe CLAN, it makes it very difficult for FaZe CLAN in a hard shift situation to be able to escape when the edge of Picaro is so open coming into those hills itself.
But of course, don't forget about Nova. Nova set up so beautifully in the south. They are going to look to improve that potential position, of course, depending on where the next phase goes. We've got 10 seconds left on the clock, and before that blue zone starts closing up, and of course the pressure starts mounting once again. But now as we look up to the top of the hill, we see the players here now, of course, from DEWA United caught in a bit of a pickle against the side of A1 Esports. The shots just finding their way on through, and this is now where the players from A1 would be looking to apply the pressure as they come in, picking up a quick knock here. As we see Boy now, 9boy looking to find the next few shots. It is going to be quite a challenge. But Dante is right up here alongside him, of course, looking to provide that extra additional bit of support.
When it comes to FaZe CLAN still holding off, nevertheless, they will defend their position. Not so much can be said by Revenant, though. SKYLIGHTZ, they're pressing in as a two-man team. Revenant, they held off the third party, allowed SKYLIGHTZ to survive, but might be their own downfall. They will find a revive, keep themselves up as a 2-2 split, but here comes they even more all on this south side. Nova holding on for now.
Oh, I mean, a beautiful play coming in there on the side, of course, of the players. Up on the hill, just finding the hits, finding the shots straight on in. And A1 making it look so easy. But now, of course, this is where things get pretty tough, as the teams are still looking to push further and further in towards their zone. SKYLIGHTZ Gaming caught on the far western side. They have yet again quite a bit of an obstacle to try and cross over before pushing further up in towards the zone. Absolutely challenging position, absolutely challenging play up ahead here. But Joker gonna try and give his utmost best as he's gonna try and push through the Revenants while just holding on the edge of the zone.
Revenant are holding on no firm. They have that 2-2 split. They have those two members in the casino, more importantly. And it's this high ground that makes it so difficult for SKYLIGHTZ to navigate around. Even those grenades tickling away at that front line. SKYLIGHTZ member Joker going down to that 6% HP. But it will just be the retreat for now from Revenant. Also have to be careful from the backside. Still 4 members of the FaZe CLAN alive and their hearts beating in the moment. Them sat inside of one building themselves to defend on the edge of Picaro. That zone will go towards them. They will have to defend against all of these teams heading in, as will also be Team TAMILAS cleaning up house. They will be able to find through Infinity.
And of course now we're looking on to the Raptors to see whether or not Body Dosh would be able to clutch it, but no. Syphan from Nova says no, you will not pass, you will not make it up into the next phase. And of course now this is where the action just gets absolutely insane as we jump onto the side here of the SKYLIGHTZ. Oh, but the hits are finding the way on through. And of course the Revenants lying in wait, just waiting to bounce, striking at the exact moment. But now up on the hill, the players here from A1 are looking to still push up from the south. They have a slight bit of a height advantage for the time being, but once they start moving down in towards Picaro, this is where that full advantage just slides away.
It's an interesting position actually as well, coming through from those on the eastern end, and particularly there, as you can see, Illuminate. They didn't have such a great game in the first match. But when it comes to the second match, an interesting split coming through. The majority of those members outside of zone trying to gatekeep, but getting now pincered as that team coming down from the Bacado Hills. BANGKRIRK Esports still also entering their way in as that third party. So I would like to see the side of Illuminate come up together as a full-man squad. They do have all 4 members up. Yes, I understand Crypto is trying to play for that off angle, but the zone has already shifted. You need to be able to adapt at this point in time and stop trying to fight outside the zone. Get a better position. Crypto already has secured you that with a much stronger to hold as a full-on team. Also there, we talked about that extra off-angle player of BANGKRIRK coming up from that off-angle side, could potentially still stand up strong on that hillside and be able to gatekeep a lot of these teams away.
Well, of course, now this is the play. This is the moment where positioning is absolutely crucial, absolutely key, as the teams are looking to push even further on up in towards that zone. Of course, now the heads are flying through onto the side, especially on towards the players here from the BANGKRIRK Esports team. They are caught on the wrong side of zone, now on the west. But of course, so many more teams still just up ahead. 5 teams remain as we now jump onto the side of A1, who's taking the engagement with FaZe. Of course, with that, the first one falls, and Dante is now left to make the stand for A1. Left to try and make the final rush.
And KITSUNE, they went way too far in. They lose multiple members for it, but they do find those revives in. Unfortunately, not much can be said for the same of Illuminate. They held too long onto Crypto's positioning. 2-2 split might just cost them in the end. Of course, look to that road. Road has now moved over towards, however, the side of Illuminate. So if they do hold on for now, they can wait for like FaZe CLAN, who do take a knock in that fight versus A1. A1 Dante gonna fall down short in the top 5.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Final 3 teams now left to battle it out. That, of course, being the players here from BANGKRIRK. It is the side of Illuminate. And then, of course, we've got the players from FaZe. Soul just stepping it up with the pressure. Coming in with a 3-man team into this late phase. But, of course, what an absolute phenomenal positional play we see coming in from Illuminate. Managing to squeeze into this last few zones with a full squad. Still up and running. But, of course, now this is where we see the shots fly on in. FaZe, I'm sorry, they also had 4 players remaining, but now they've been reduced down to 3. Of course, now MR5 getting knocked out as well. But now this is where Kopakes is looking to make a play. Tony K right there alongside him as they now move on in. Of course, we see the shots find their way on through, and we are now reduced down to only 2 teams.
FaZe, this is the problem we talked about coming out of Bacado. Illuminate going in for the kill.
Oh, come on, come on. Here we go. FaZe now looking to wrap this one up, but no. They get stops. Illuminate enlightening them right back into the lobby. Absolutely phenomenal play coming in there. Beautiful aggression as we look to the scoreboard. And of course, they do so in fashion, finishing off with 9 kills. We see FaZe finishing absolutely strong in second place, coming in with a really decent count there. 10 kills to their name. Beautifully done.
Illuminate, they take down FaZe CLAN and what could have been their second straight chicken dinner. They grab alongside it 9 kills, but also looking back towards FaZe, a brilliant standout performance from them, as we say, to hold on to that second place, to be able to pick up a plethora of kills in their own department, 10 to be exact. And couple that, of course, with their chicken dinner, their 13-kill game previously, FaZe are setting themselves up for consistency, and consistency high from the rest of those teams on the leaderboard at that.
Wow, what an impressive show this was coming in on Miramar. But of course, I'm quite excited to see as we circle back onto Erangel just what the teams are going to be bringing. Because, I mean, the pressure, the aggression, the gameplay just keeps on heating up as we progress on through. And this is only the first day. Imagine what the next 2 remaining days are going to be like. I don't even want to think about the grand finals.
When you think about the grand finals, it's going to be scary as anything. And I tell you something, they are going to be such a high level of gameplay and continuing alongside what we've seen in the group stage, expecting even more aggression. But when we still have to think about 10 more games that we get to watch, we get to witness all of the aggression in Group B here as well, DK. A wrangle up next.
It is going to be pretty exciting stuff. But of course, we'll be taking you straight back into Erangel after a short break. So stay tuned and we'll join you back on with some hot, spicy Erangel action. Hello and welcome back to Erangel. We are lining up with our second match, of course, looking to see what the teams are going to be bringing as they go at it right here on our third match. My name is DK, and of course, with me is the lovely Highland Wolf. Wolf, Erangel, second visit. Things are gonna be pretty spicy.
Oh man, and all eyes on FaZe CLAN, who are coming off of a first, now a second place finish over on Miramar as well, taking up a plethora of kills. In 2 games here, DK, they picked up not only the first and the second place, but 23 kill points in total. They were looking for Illuminate, who did steal away that chicken dinner for themselves in that second Miramar match, also taking home 9 kill points. So Illuminate as well finding their way back up from the bottom, which was quite a disappointing Erangel. Nevertheless, they're going to have to prove themselves here because, as you say, we are back on those green hills itself. And when you also look down towards the rest of this leaderboard, as that playing path does enter in quite close towards the even side, will be more favorable of those northern teams. And those teams specifically, the likes who did finish in the bottom in this previous game of AKUMA, of TAMILAS, of Johnny Black, of even to an extent ZEUS, which is I think the more surprising name out of these 4, all having bad games so far when it comes to the first 2 matches. And if this continues, definitely expecting a lot of a stark difference when it comes to these consistent teams in the top compared to those respectively falling down on the bottom of that leaderboard as well.
It is going to be a bit of a challenge. It is going to be a bit of a fight, right? So to secure that slot, to be in the top 7, to move in through up in towards that grand finals, that is of course where all the teams want to find themselves. That is where they are aiming to reach. I mean, however, for some of the teams, it is a little bit more of a challenge. It is going to be a little bit more of a daunting task. But of course, now speaking about daunting tasks, we are looking to see what that first phase is going to bring, as we have that flight path up in towards the north or east. As we've already mentioned, the teams are starting to make their way on down, and this is where again we could see quite a few teams hard dropping it as we look in towards just now. Things already looking pretty tough, in that zone centering up fairly nicely right here on the map.
Oh boy, AKUMA as well, one of those teams jumping in alongside A1 and DRS. Now, A1 as well, coming off of what was quite a disappointing, I would argue, Erangel game where they had set up around initially that bottom western bridge for so long, then only to be third party by Infinity for a lack of awareness behind them, struggled to get into zone, and as a result did go out fairly early compared to the rest of these teams in those final few phases. But DRS, a team who we definitely look to being quite a fairly strong contender over on in Erangel, definitely coming up strong in our first game itself, coming in fairly slow into the zone with second place 7 kill points, and definitely DRS, one of these teams who I would argue, despite the amount of aggression happening through these games so far, very conserved and do try to play back, and when it works out very well. But as you can see, to Infinity once again, who took them out in our second match very early on.
Well, there's a lot of potential crazy fights to break out, and of course we're going to be looking to see what the teams are going to bring to the table, as we see the players there from Seal9 already going at it, getting straight up in towards the action over towards the North Georgia Ball region. And this is where things are particularly interesting. We've got so many teams pretty close, scattered throughout the map. But now you were talking about the awareness, right? Now, here in South Africa, we've got a saying like it's an aware. You know, it's like a...
Oh, yeah.
It's an aware play, right? So I'm going to be looking to see who's got their own awareness. But it's not the same kind of awareness that you've been talking about.
Oh, man. Oh, man. I mean, you should just start casting in Afrikaans, as we said earlier, right? Just completely change the language. Start casting the play-by-play. Does that mean you sound even more hype?
No, that's going to be... Whew, that's going to be tough. It's not an easy language to do this in for me, but hey, we'll stick to the English, as of course we can see now the shots coming in on the TAMILAS team. Oh man, the aggression there from Seal9. It's quite interesting to watch though, because I mean, Carry is in the water. That is where we expect to see the Seals though, you know?
Right. I mean, biologically, that's pretty incorrect. It's Seals who have decided they're going to grow legs and they decided they're going to walk all over TAMILAS. TAMILAS, they are the ones growing the gills. They're the ones swimming down carry. Unfortunately, this time around, TAMILAS not able to survive to what was a fairly good position overall for them in game number 1. Going to have to be the solo player. But they're also, when you look towards those teams fighting on more the mainland side, it is, of course, the likes of REVENANT Esports, who are also setting up shop with their own series of kills.
Well, we also did see quite a bit of a kill feed freak out happening there between the side of Galaxy Racer and Nova. Absolutely crazy shots that we saw coming in the kill feed. But of course, now this is where we look to see exactly who of those two teams are still alive. Because I mean, as we go through the side here, it looks absolutely brutal. But now up in Pachinki, join me. Wow. You can see Lulu now. Lulu Tiev getting hit by the shots as they find their way on through the side here of DEWA United. Dialing up the aggression, finding some beautiful shots in towards them. But this is now where Join Me is going to be looking to potentially not join their teammate in the lobby.
Join Me, they've had 2 games already, as we said, disappointing. They need to have a good game here to not only be able to grab points, but be able, for a mental state side of things here, DK, have the confidence to go into that 4th game as well with the ability to pick up those points. Clearly, definitely a disparity in the synergy on this team and what they choose to do on their positioning, who is covering who, and then actually allowing, as we said, also their DEWA United to just roll up on top of them. Yes, DEWA getting knocked, but fortunately for them, someone there to cover. There was even a 3rd player there of Horizon there if need be, and unfortunately, that cover just not quite there for Join Me Black.
Oh, I mean, the one getting knocked out right on the spot. But of course, now it is up to Power and K2E to make this final stand. Lulu, of course, now getting raced right back on up. So it is a good play still for them. They still have the opportunity to come moving in. But of course, now K2Me getting hit as the shots find their way through Power. Now looking to make a stand. Looking to just quickly reposition back up in towards the hard cover in anticipation of the players here from DEWA United who are looking to push in. And of course, just seal up this squad wipe. As you can see, right down below, right outside the window. Power is feeling the pressure, but here we go as they start circling in. DEWA come in with the hits, causing the brain, causing the problems. And now Lulu is left to make the final stand. But I mean, DEWA United, they moved up as a united front, making it so difficult for Join Me Black.
And again, it's that synergy problem from Join Me Black. They're just quite not on target there. When one of them gets knocked, they're not able to punish that firing member of DEWA United straight back. And one by one, as you can see, they just fall down in Pachinki for a 2nd time now again. And the question now of the day is, can Join Me Black even be able to survive through this early game phase? They go for these contested locations, but yet they're not able for 3 games now to be able to hold their own, and a concern over them, I think, to be able to come into game number 4 to at least pick up some points, to be able to grab anything when it comes to this first day of games. Up on the top side, those Seals, they are dropping 2 now down to Infinity. Infinity upsetting even more on the outskirts of this match.
Alright, so this is going to be a pretty tricky one for the side here of SEAL9 to hold on to, as Infinity is just letting it rip head after head. I mean, the Seals now just suffering. Oh, but a quick play coming in there from Munke. That's what I'm going to be calling it. That's what it looks like, but of course, no. Oh, he gets knocked out as well. Amara now left to make the final play. The final stand for the team here of SEAL9, and it is going to be an exceptionally difficult play as the blue zone is moving in. But of course, the aggression coming in here once again now from the Infinity. This is going to be to infinity and beyond as they move in, and ends it off right there for SEAL9.
Monkey, where's my tea bags? Where's my life? In the words of the Yorkshire. PG tips, but never mind that. It will be Infinity Esports who are able to take the 4 kills, take the game there, DK, and are able to roll in from the George Paul side and are going to set themselves up for that entrance in.
And of course, now the players here, the remaining player for the team TAMILAS being carried now, of course, looking to carry the team to glory, looking to get them up into those final few phases. We are still only in the first phase, 2 minutes still remaining on the clock, and of course we've seen already so much carnage just erupting all across this map. But now as the teams look to move even further up in towards the coming phase, this is where things are going to get pretty interesting. Of course, there's still quite a lot of open space remaining, but 16 teams still in the lobby. So much potential fighting still to come through.
Still, though, when it comes towards that Roshawk side, ZEUS got to be in the center of that zone. And around Roshawk, not only that, but also the school apartments around just to the south of the school. And ZEUS opting to go for that all-time popular spot of the hills to the south. But often for me, I find that those southern hillside potential movement from down to the hill in towards school, or from that hill itself up back towards the center of the zone, it's quite tricky to do for ZEUS, and I do fear for them in this current position. I would like to see them at least send one scout over towards Roshawk to try set up some sort of future position for them indeed, considering they are on side the edge of that zone. Their TAMILAS also lose down their final member as well. FaZe CLAN going to be the ones to clean that up.
Yep, FaZe now coming in with a very easy point on the board right then and there. But of course, as you've mentioned, the players here from ZEUS now moving up into position, looking to set themselves up for these coming zones. And of course, we still have a minute left on the clock until we see that blue zone start closing in and bringing us to the end of our second phase. And things are going to be pretty interesting, of course, looking to see where that zone goes and where the teams are going to try and position themselves. So far, we've seen a pretty interesting performance, but now 15 teams remaining. It's going to be pretty tough.
And this is why we say Roshawk here, DK, because Roshawk, that compound in between the north and the south side of Erangel, going to set up very, very strong for those teams to be able to decipher which way they need to go, have a strong hold on whichever way they need to go come those next few phases. And of course, Roshawk, of course, nevertheless, just being more of that central position inside the zone. However, I think the teams also aren't choosing to go for it just now because of the danger of going into a compound very early on. And the difficulty is, we said, like with Picardo, to be able to escape outside of it once those teams do start to encircle around you. However, when we also look to the majority of those teams, where they're coming from specifically, it is from the south and this western side. And I'm more favorable of FaZe CLAN coming later out on from Georgia Pole, because they can obviously take that bridge through into Watertown, back into Roshawk, or also, as we said, have that diversity to move into the North Island itself. Much better for them than the rest of these teams. Unfortunately, for the likes of SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, they rotated very early on and have actually now found themselves in a tricky position, as we said, encircled by a lot of these teams around them.
Yep, it is going to be a fairly tricky fight for them to follow through on, as we now look to see what the players here from Starlight Gaming are going to be doing. They caught out in the open, a very exposed position, but up ahead we see one of the players there from Infinity now just coming in to render range. But oh, the players there from DEWA United are not even going to sit around and wait. They're just going to step on up, sending the hurt straight in towards them. And they come rushing up, trying to close this up now, looking to pick a fight. But now, so far, the shots are finding its way through. But so many teams now in the vicinity, hearing the engagements, I'm pretty sure this is going to draw a lot of attention.
And it is that solo player of SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, Bolihang, who is on their own against DEWA United, entering barely inside the building, the sliver of HP, allowing to survive. Haven, not quite so lucky, will get caught off the back end by Infinity. And it's like we said, 3 teams around SKYLIGHTZ Gaming. They won't to push in for any of those compounds. And as a result, everyone around him is taking up stronghold in SKYLIGHTZ Gaming court on their own in the open, as you rightly say so yourself. Joker now going to move through to Watertown, but it's only as a solo play. Surely Bolahan goes down, despite maybe perhaps a miracle play and a big mistake potentially from DEWA United. However, DEWA, they're making no mistakes in the meantime.
Oh, I mean, this is going to be a really tough fight here for the side of SKYLIGHTZ. But now, yeah, as you said, DEWA, they've just been going through this one absolutely phenomenally, finding themselves in good position, following through with their hits, and now, of course, they're looking to do exactly that on towards Bolihang as he gets taken out. And, of course, now Joker looking to just sneak up in towards that zone, looking to find that position. I gotta say, I almost messed up that name because, yeah.
Oh,
anyway.
man. Oh, man. Anyway, as we slide our way through onto that northern phase shift there, DK, saving you from what could have been a disaster. Joker, the final member of SKYLIGHTZ Gaming, will also rotate to the northern side, 3 out of Watertown through those Roshawk bridges, and also this is where we said the flexibility from FaZe CLAN, moving their way up north with that hard shift over there, and even to likes as well. REVENANT are going to do the exact same. We don't choose to go for Roshawk, and it's not out a forward-thinking decision because as a result they are also able to take the hills coming out of that bridge, in particular with their 2-2 split. And for the side of REVENANT, actually a very strong foundation for them. However, they do have to be careful of that third party. A1 are behind them. A1 the real threat here of the situation if they do go in all in for that fight over beta.
I mean, there's so many rotations now coming on through as we look up in it towards the zone, looking to see where the teams are going to be going. And of course, the north is definitely looking action-packed, jam-packed with players. But before we even get there, the players from DEWA United now get caught just on the side here of Everest, looking to make their way on through. But of course the shots find their way on in as Infinity applies the aggression, applies the pressure, and of course now Uni gets sent right on off. Now it is up towards the remaining 2 players, Krazen and Co, looking to position themselves a little bit better up in the coming through phases. But this is going to be absolutely essential for the teams once again to find that good anchor point within this phase.
When you look at those anchor points, in particularly AKUMA, we questioned as one of their abilities as a team to come back in for the later stage. AKUMA, they actually stayed for the longest time up in this northern side of the zone. However, they have chosen to play conservatively down into the ridgeline, into those few buildings out of the hills of shooting range. I think they've actually missed out on a trick there by going towards the hills of shooting range. Not only as a duo could they have actually taking out what was that solo scout of Illuminate, but also then future into this game, also holding on to a strong position of vision. However, they don't need to worry about that now because the zone has shifted down towards Roshawk. It's going a hard shift towards the south, and all of these teams on the north side prepping for what could have been a northern zone, completely negated. And this is where we look also for the players of the fishies here, heading into the river of Roshawk, playing for those placement points.
Oh man, this is going to be an absolutely beautiful zone, having all these players now just looking to rush on up. But look at Joker in the kill feed, finding the hits into the side there of the players from DU. But of course now this is where we see the players here from A1 setting themselves up on the edge of that zone, looking to fortify this position and looking to reap the benefits of the chaos of this rotation. I'm hoping to see this place just coming in as A1 is just beautifully set up on the north here.
On that bridge, though, unfortunate for the side of Mistake, they now fall down as a result. They get taken down by the side of Tamilas, as they will on the edge. Gatekeeper Way have had one player knocked, but nevertheless, it is still the side of MAYHEM alive, should I say, apologies, who will, as a result, with that knock, try to find some else way into zone, but you can see there's just no way inside. It's so tricky for these players to try get back in across that river onto that South Island itself. Potentially even actually the likes of DEWA missing out in the play to initially rotate through to the edge of that island in between the river early on, and then make a trip down towards the Roshawk itself quickly. Before the rest of those players moved in, they do find kills, they do find knocks for now, but how successful are they going to be?
Well, I don't know. It is going to be quite a bit of a challenge. I mean, just looking at Johnny's health, it is already so low, and just the sheer number of players, once again, all looking to rush in off of this western end. It is going to be so trying, and of course, there we go. The players there, of course, Crazen from the players of DEWA United steps on up, finds the hits, and makes it, well, just ends it right there as they find the shots just following through for on towards Illuminate. But now as we look onto the side here of BANGKRIRK Esports, they are too also now looking to make a stand on this western front, looking to pick up the points as we have so many damaged players just up ahead of them.
DEWA as well. Kryzen still is a solo player inside the foundations, inside the midst of the sandbags of that hillside. Unfortunately, for Infinity will fall short to the hands of DEWA United, the solo player. But also there come in the side of BKS, moving their way in. BANGKRIRK now, as that split, they've already taken, as we predicted, 2 members towards the fishies inside the river, but those holding on to the zone as it does shift into their hands. If they take out DEWA United, Kryzen, it looks like BANGKRIRK, they actually could be able to feasibly take this game with their control over this hillside, but they have to make sure that that third party gets white initially first.
Well, it is going to be pretty tough looking up in towards Rozhok itself, right? Here we've got the players from Galaxy Racer looking to make the play, looking to make that stand, but right up ahead of them, we have the team there from the Beta Sentinel. So it is going to be a pretty tricky hurdle yet again for these teams to try and push through. But of course, now Galaxy looking to pick up the shots as their heads come flying on through. Oasis and Ultron both getting knocked on out, and now it is up towards Max Cash and of course MJ to make that stand, get their players back up and battle ready before looking to push even further through the zone. But Beta not wasting any time as they now start applying a little bit of pressure yet again onto the side of Galaxy Racer.
Beta, though, they have to move. They've been sitting pretty over Rozhok all darn game, and now the zone forces their hand. But with waiting so long, what can they control? They go for the initial split in, wide split over to look for anything, but is also used their Galaxy Racer. They are just hot on their heels. Also, ZEUS stepping up as well inside the top 10. They have lost Wally down and knocked, but the revive will come through the smokes in as well. And ZEUS, they could potentially come back. They game for them, but this zone relentless as it moves away from everyone and 0 players inside of it.
Oh man, this is just insane. Looking at the challenge the teams are already facing just to squeeze into zone. I mean, now they need to get on up and go at the fights. Then we see just yet again erupting all over the place. Now, up in the north, right, we've got the players, of course, here from Revenant right there alongside the side of FaZe, as well as the players there from AKUMA KITSUNE. So, I mean, this is such an exceptionally challenging position for a lot of these teams find themselves in.
AKUMA, they have to hold on the edge of this ridge line. FaZe as well, keep in mind alive. They're setting into 2 members for the scout. Very heads up, risky play. But if they can hold this zone, if they can hold the hill, FaZe, they're setting themselves up for victory. ZEUS also going for the fish strategy. They will survive in the river for now. It will also be the side of BANGKRIRK, who will be able to hold on as well. They do lose their member inside the water, but Kenneth is still in this game.
Oh, and I mean, cue the blue zone as it now starts pushing on in, forcing their hand for so many of these teams. So many of these players now starting to succumb to the absolute brutal damage, which is that blue zone. And of course, with that, we see a very abrupt end coming onto the side there of Galaxy Racer. But ZEUS just chilling out in the drink. They're the one of the 3 final teams to make it up in towards these late phases. And of course, now they're going to be looking to make that final stand, that final bit of a dash. But of course, we've got BANGKRIRK Esports now positioned over on towards that far western side. It is pretty stacked odds. But of course, BANGKRIRK now on their last remaining hopeful. This is where Kenny is going to have to show us what he is made of. And of course, now, whether or not Kenny will be able to find any additional points. Oh, this is Ennis.
But look at FaZe. Look at FaZe. Where are they going to be able to hold on, ZEUS, against such a strong composition already in control of the zone? ZEUS just went top 3. Yes, you also have decided BANGKRIRK inside the zone as a solo player, but it's all of the FaZe members alive. They've not lost a single man.
Oh, here we go now. Oh, Leo looking to pick up the hits, but gets knocked out in turn. Now we've got a Wally and of course Icy looking to come in with their play as they look to position themselves in the zone right here up against the lineup of FaZe. And what a lineup it is. FaZe coming in with absolutely amazing numbers into these late phases. And of course now we still have that remaining player from BANGKRIRK Esports just hugging the edge of the West, looking to just squeeze on in. But now ZEUS and FaZe, they're going at it, they're putting in their hits, and of course here we go. Wally steps up, picks up a shot, but gets taken out. And that is the end now for the players here from FaZe. As we look, sorry, that is the end of the players from ZEUS. As FaZe now still looking to close up this match, looking to claim that chicken dinner. But now, of course, Ennis, finding any and every shot he can take, putting the hurt on, and FaZe now down to 1. If he can get that res in, he gets a full squad wipe.
FaZe, if he stops the revive in MR5, this is their chance to be with those revives, the savior for FaZe. Kenneth, so they bought time for themselves with Van Knocker, should you say. BANGKRIRK Esports is Sono behind him, FaZe 8. They have to stand up.
Oh, here we go. And he's now looking to just squeeze in onto the side of the zone, looking to just position himself right there on the edge and potentially continue with the absolute brutality. But no, FaZe says that is the end. Right then and there, we're gonna take that chicken dinner, and of course they do so, finishing off with 9 kills alongside the chicken. And of course the players from the BANGKRIRK Esports team finishing up in 2nd place on 6 kills. So really impressive plays that we had yet again on Erangel.
32 kills so far, additionally with those 9 kills from this 3rd game from FaZe in only 3 games. 2 chicken dinners, almost 3 with a 2nd place over on Miramar. FaZe CLAN, they are on an entirely different level when it comes to the rest of this lobby. Their consistency in today, whatever they've been eating for breakfast, lunch, dinner, it is working, and it is working in so big amounts for them, as it will be the side of BANGKRIRK to take that 2nd overall position finish. 4, 5, 6 kills going towards them. ZEUS as well, definitely much needed step up from them, securing away 3rd position and also their 6 kills.
I mean, absolutely phenomenal stuff we've seen so far over these past 3 games. But of course, we have 1 more to go. 1 more round right back on towards Miramar. So we're going to be heading up into that in a short few minutes. So be sure to stay tuned and join us back with the absolute crazy action we'll be seeing on the final match here for today. See you guys back in a bit. Hello and welcome back. Here we are, getting straight back into the final match, the final shuffle, the final showdown, as the teams are going to go at it once again on Miramar. My name is DK, and with me is the ever lovely Highland Wolf. And Wolf, this is going to be a pretty hot and heated match.
Oh, yes, it is. And we're looking all eyes, as we said in the previous game, towards FaZe, who picked up that previous match's chicken dinner. 9 kill points, as we also said. They're picking up now a total of 32 kills, should I say, in the past 3 matches so far. A 10+ kill average per game. That is scary AF to look at.
Oh, it is so scary, so hairy, but it is only the start. This is day 1, the final match of day 1. And of course, we're expecting a lot more insanity as we continue over the 2 remaining days. But now, as the teams are starting to make their way on down, and we do see that flight path going over the map fairly centrally, I have to add. It looks pretty decent, but of course we look to see where that first initial zone is going to be popping, and of course where the teams will have to try and position themselves. That is where things get interesting. That is where we're going to be seeing what the teams do, and of course just what insanity will be in store for us.
And when it looks also towards this final game, the step up of some of these teams in particular, DK, the likes of ZEUS stepping up with that 3rd position finish in the previous game, 6 kill points to their name, were able to hold on long enough to grab something to now go into this final game in particular with that momentum that they really did need to be able to now get points here, potentially get points in the next 2 days, and come back from what was, unfortunately for them, a disappointing first 2 games. And surprising, as we said, knowing that ZEUS coming even off of the World League just earlier this year, struggling in the initial first phases against a lot of the rest of these squads. And I think a team that is still struggling, who also joining up in terms of that World League caliber, at least the organization anyway, Nova Esports, who taking now down a very low position finish in the first game. They only got 7th with 2 kill points in the second game of Miramar. In the third game, it was once again disappointing for them. They were one of the first out. And now going into the final game of Miramar, definitely Nova, the pressure on them more so than the rest of them. Yes, they maybe run with a little bit of lag considering they are from USA, but lag can only go blame so much.
Well, either way, I mean, just looking at the performance already, it is pretty interesting to say the least. You know, you wouldn't say that they are necessarily running on too much lag on their end, but it is going to be quite interesting to see, of course, how the teams cope with the difference in positions and regions and all the different plays coming into the mix here, of course, as we see those shots now still just lighting up the kill feed. And Wally there from ZEUS being able to find the first view over in towards Picardo. So this is where, of course, we now look to see what the teams will bring and how they're going to try and rotate in and throughout Picardo.
And especially around Picardo, you have to note that it is not going to be Johnny Black who go into the Picardo section this time around. Yes, it is ZEUS fighting against FaZe CLAN. So exciting battle already, but ZEUS 1 up for the meantime. Will get traded a 1 knock back. Still available to them, though, Ably. Will not be knocked completely firsted out just yet, but is off the off angle. Icy as well, just not really quite there with the rest of the ZEUS members. And I think this could be a concerning point for them, especially if now FaZe, they start to really ramp their way up in this fight, really start to turn on that aggression. Icy does need to get back in there quick.
Yeah, Icy could be in for a pretty cold match. Looking just at how far away Icy is from that setup. But I mean, looking at towards FaZe, they are just playing those compounds beautifully, moving in, finding the angles, applying the pressure on towards ZEUS. But I mean, now we look to see, of course, what ZEUS will be able to do. Will we see ZEUS move in and retaliate, as we now have Icy starting to come off the back end here and could potentially get a bit of a jump on towards MR5 and Tony K?
a beta as well, going to be losing one of their off members. It will be SKYLIGHTZ Gaming to be able to secure that one through. Beta, Michi, and NM going to be the duo now, but also running into Arena 1, Alpha 1 Esports, should I say, straight on target now in the warehouse. Alpha 1, though, the 3v2 advantage for them.
But of course now ZEUS looking to push further on through with the aggression, as we did see Icy taking a quick few swings onto the side there of Tony, and now of course the shots find their way on through as we see Icy and Leo both getting knocked out. Now it is up to Wally and Avery now. Will they be able to make the stand up against the side here of FaZe as the pressure is mounting? The shots are coming and FaZe is looking to push on in. There we go. Of course, now the players from ZEUS sitting on a 3-man team as they look to push through the arena and pick up the final few players from FaZe. And Wally does exactly that. Ends it so abruptly for the side of FaZe. And back they go. Ready to wait to join us back again tomorrow. But now, as we continue on through, we can hear some of those slots going off in the background. But as we hop on over in towards Las Leones, we can see, of course, the players now just making their way through. And this being the team coming in there from the Illuminate. We've seen the performance from them in the previous 3 games. Do you think, Wolf, that we're going to be seeing a continuation of that over in towards Miramar now?
Illuminate are an interesting one for me because Illuminate, they always start very, very aggressively, I think, when it comes to their playstyle. However, it doesn't very much work out for them. They do struggle when it comes to those final few moments. Coming into the mid game, that's particularly where they're positioning, because they have been looking for kills so much, they'll start to fall down. Fortunately for those side of their team Mystic, they will also lose one of their members. Mayhem, excuse me. They do find 1 kill for the meantime. Will be Illuminate. Still up both 4 members. They are going particularly here Illuminate, however, DK for this 2-1-1 split. You have Johnny on the backside looking at high ground, and this is also a slight concern for me because Johnny, if the frontline members of side of Illuminate do fall, they quickly turn south for the Illuminate squad.
Yeah, and of course it is going to be quite a bit of distance to cover to try and bring in those reinforcements, just to try and fortify that push. But, of course, now this is where we wait to see exactly how Illuminate and Mayhem are going to be going through this exchange, going through the fight. And, of course, a lot of potential positional play coming from this. As we can see, of course, now the players here from Illuminate looking to push up further on towards the high ground. As the Bums now looking to just improve that position. You can see, of course, Crypto and Co. just down below. UZM, rather. Let's go with that. It sounds better than Bums. But, of course, now we can see Fuse also just patiently waiting it down below. Refuse now looking to make a stand. Maybe bring up the play against the side here, of course, the players from Mayhem.
In particular, you said around Los Leones, and we speak back towards Johnny here. And the reason why Johnny is now going to start to move their way up closer is because of how hard it is to find such a great angle between those buildings in particular. And when we do look towards that high angle, specifically actually looking towards Illuminate BUM, right, where they do, of course, have that very much 5-stack position in. But then also you have to think, well, yes, you have the high ground. Yes, you have the vision control. But on the other hand, for Mayhem, we know that you can actually isolate that member specifically for how high they are. There's no way down. So Mayhem, if they find a nice angle, if they're able to use one member to take away Crypto and Brevus out of the equation, they can start to really search for these solo picks. And I think this is definitely the way that we need to do that, considering that it's still Mayhem. They are choosing to opt for this fight, gatekeeping away the entire side of Illuminate as they try to edge in closer.
And now, of course, we're adding on the FPP mode onto this final match. So this already throws a slight bit of a curveball to the teams. The previous 3 matches, they were all playing it in TPP. Now coming into the final one is FPP. But this is where we see the teams having that ability to now flourish a little bit more. Because we know some teams
That's why we
prefer
can blame
TPP. And some prefer FPP.
Yeah, that's what exactly, right? We can blame that completely for the side of FaZe CLAN and why they clearly fell down. It's obviously, you know, the FPP.
Yeah, of course. Now you see the players here now looking to push up even further as Illuminate is finding their way up the stairway. Ooh, Myth now jumping out, Mayhem rather, jumping out the window. As you can see, Cyrus, ooh, getting taken right on out. Sensei just behind. But now we wait to see where the engagements are going to be coming from, as we see Refuse now pushing in towards Sensei, getting the knock, looking for the confirm. But this is now where Mayhem is facing quite a bit of a challenge here. M4 and of course Immortal, they're going to be looking to make this final stand.
I've seen this zone before as well, DK. I wonder where so far today we've seen this zone where it goes in between the roadside, opening up to Musera, power grid onto the northern side alongside Picardo Hill. And again, teams are going to be centralizing around Picardo for an entrance into the middle of that zone. Unfortunately, therefore, however, the side of Mayhem, they are starting to lose members, and slowly but surely, Illuminate, they were able to come out clutch, they were able to find 4-3 kills. Johnny, the only one falling down, but they're going to revive it back up. They're going to get back into the zone, and it just looks like all over for here for the side of Mayhem.
Oh, here we go. Immortal now just on the staircase, finds a quick shot in towards Crypto. But of course, now we look to see whether or not they'll be able to continue with that, as we see BANGKRIRK also in the kill feed. But here we go. Immortal gets taken down, and that is the end for the side there of Mayhem. But of course, we've got so many more fights breaking out as we hop on towards the players here from Seal9, who have now been reduced down to 1, going up against the side here of BANGKRIRK Esports. But now, this is where Inky will have to bring the play. Bring that next level angle and performance. Oh, such a challenge.
It's brave for the Seals to try edge their way outside of the water of Arangles up towards the highest peaks of the mountains of the desert dunes. BANGKRIRK, they take this position in the game number 2, but they will hold on for it for now in game number 4 as well. ZEUS opting, as we suggested here, to move away from Picardo. It is obviously, as we say, very difficult to move away from if teams do start to encircle you in the later phases. They're going to go for the hilltop, just edging towards that central road inside the middle of the zone. Seal, they do fall down. We lose the final member, and like that, we move our way down to 14. Team Seal in 15th. But looking towards who could be our next team to fall, potentially even looking towards here Infinity and also Galaxy Racers up against it inside La Torrella. Infinity, they took one team down before here, DRS. They moved elsewhere. DRS, instead, they're going to be over on the opposite side, also moving in from Los Leones, not willing to find what could happen once again.
Oh, I mean, what a challenging position this is now that Infinity finds themselves in. Of course, Galaxy Racer managing to send a few across, as we can, of course, see who said, taking already quite a bit of damage there. And, of course, now got Tummy looking to quickly put that jab into the tummy to regain the health. But this now is also where Miller is looking to just break away, disengage, and potentially just wrap around, flank the players there from Galaxy Racer. So quite a bit of potential angles that we could see coming in from this, as the teams are now facing a little bit more of a challenge. I mean, TPP already by itself is quite challenging, but now switching it up into FPP, it's a whole nother demon.
It is indeed, and it, oh boy, it is a big, fat, scary demon indeed. The side as well there, those teams moving away from Los Leones, very, very scary as well. 2-2 split coming through from TAMILAS, and TAMILAS in particular, very brave of them to go for his 2-2 split. Gonna be a gate kept now, DRS as they move in, but versus 2 members, the advantage very much is there.
Yeah, Infinity now facing quite a bit of a challenge, as we saw Galaxy Racer just come rushing in on towards them. But of course, they're not disengaging completely, just repositioning, looking to get that alternative angle onto the side there. But now it seems like they could be considering moving out of the area and just placing themselves a little bit further up ahead of that zone. But as you mentioned, of course, the action is just unfolding on that eastern side. As we can see, of course, the shots just flying back and forth, and a hit now finding its way in through towards the players here from TAMILAS. It is a bit of a challenge going up against DRS, but they are moving up in their numbers and looking to get a clean sweep.
This is very scary for TAMILAS. You have Surya already scouting out against Join Me Black. You have one member down for TAMILAS up against now those coming from Illuminate. And also when you also look towards the final member of Carry up against DRS, all of these members split apart, and it's actually a very poor decision and series of decision coming through from TAMILAS that puts them in this situation. And effectively now, as you can see, two members dead, one member knocked, only Surya who moves away into zone to survive, but really not long for as well, with Join Me Black surely the four members behind them. In this series of poor decisions splitting apart so far, when you know that the zone is shifting against you in this specific direction west, and you know that teams are going to be coming from the eastern side, it doesn't make very much sense to me, especially when you do go for a 2-2 split. You need to be able to have the ability to recuperate back together as a four-man squad, and it definitely went way too far out to be able to do that.
Yeah, no, agree with you on that. And of course, they can feel the sting coming in from that as the pain and the hurt was just dialed up to 11. But now looking at the team's position, smack dab center zone. I mean, ZEUS, it is an interesting position they find themselves in. They do have the ridge lines to play off of, but now the question comes in is, will they be able to capitalize on their positioning? Of course, we can see A1 just up ahead of them with a few additional players in the surrounding area, so things aren't looking easy just yet. But I can tell you it is going to be quite a bit of a challenge just getting into these later phases.
A1 indeed also need to step themselves up just a little bit here. A1 being slackened, not quite able to find a good result for themselves when it comes into those final few phases, but nevertheless they are finding a few kills here and there. Definitely going to be better off than a lot of these other teams still at the bottom of this leaderboard. In particular here also Join Me Black. We said their ability to survive, but surviving for now haven't been what we've seen familiar in the previous 3 games where we go out very early on. That was FaZe CLAN who went out in place of Join Me Black and Picardo. In their switch up down towards the south side, coming in towards the zone from this way, I like the adaptation coming through from them. And definitely this adaptation is what we talked about right at the start of the game, which are going to bring these teams points coming through not only today but also in the future days, tomorrow and then on Wednesday as well. And Join Me Black, a team who can see this adaptedness already forming, definitely promising signs to see that they aren't quite fully out of this series already.
Yeah, and of course there's a little slither of hope remaining as we look to see, of course, now just who will make it up in towards those final zones, getting in those additional points to ensure a good position on the overall standings. But now, of course, the players here from Join Me Black looking to cross the road. They have, of course, right up ahead of them, one of the players there from TAMILAS, looking to just stay relevant a little while longer, looking to find that little angle, potentially finding a few more shots to follow up on that. But now we see the players here from Join Me Black getting ready to push on through. And of course, the last remaining hopeful here for the side of Team TAMILAS, looking to potentially find a few hits, but also now needs to start focusing on getting back up in towards zone. They are quite a distance away, but look at that zone.
Yeah. Scary stuff, and scary stuff for here ZEUS as well. A 2-1 split coming through from them. The zone shifts towards the edge of their current location, and as a result, you can see DEWA United, Arena 50, or Alpha 1, should I say, here as well as DRS, now moving in as a 4-man squad. And for Alpha 1, should I say, actually also a 2-man squad, but it is a solo play there from Sinister up against BANGKRIRK as well. And for overall, when it looks like Alpha 1's positioning moving in here, I would actually like them to hold off for now and be able to silence their positions. Don't try to go for a play. Actually wait for the side of BANGKRIRK to move past you later into the zone. Wait for the side of DRS potentially surpass you going to zone. And then as that blue zone closes in, me back up with Jax. Come as a 2-man. In between you can see alongside that road, to the northwestern side of that road, entering in from the northeast end of that road, or the zone specifically, you can see that high ground, and that cover specifically could be of use to them, and something that as teams leave, potentially to a western shift, could be very useful for them.
Oh, I mean, now, team that needs hard cover, that needs those angles, of course, is the side here of DEWA United, as they now look to take the fight with ZEUS. Position within the zone, gatekeeping them at the current moment, and of course their numbers are starting to drop. They're starting to fall as the blue zone has now caught up with them. This is of course the 5th phase. The damage is just mounting up as the blue zone is looking to clear its way on through, and of course now clearing out the players in the process. We can see also just up ahead the players there from Illuminate having a pretty tough day as the hits are just coming on through. They get picked up out in the blue zone, but now the team's just positioning inside that zone. We can see already the players here from Infinity looking to push up a little bit further, looking to improve their position. They are only a 2-man team, but of course we still have 12 teams remaining. And Join Me Black now looking to pick up several more hits as they start pushing onto the back end of the players here from AKUMA.
No one expected Join Me Black to be in this game at this moment in time, and by golly, are they taking advantage of a surprise flank onto AKUMA, finds the initial knocks, almost takes down the second, the KTS, but for now, the rest of AKUMA, they have to be so careful here. Active as well, stuck in between the building as the rest of those members surge on down into the compound. There's also the rest, SKYLIGHTZ Gaming trying to enter in because this zone shifted far towards the western side. DK, it is only the side of Galaxy Racer who is shifted towards. Revenant as well, they are moving their way in, have already a 5th imposter member of Galaxy Racer, Was, already inside the zone too. But can they be able to make that move further in? Should I say, Ashley? I am getting myself mixed up here. It will be Revenant inside the zone and Galaxy Racer, who are the ones, nevertheless, entering in.
Yep, Galaxy Racer of course looking to find that position. They have a full squad still remaining. Right up ahead of them, of course, we see the players coming in from the Revenant Esports side. So quite a bit of a challenge, of course. Now the Indian team's going head to head here, just looking to battle it out. But of course, further up, they're out the zone. The teams are just so all cramped together. There's not a lot of space remaining. But now we see Join Me picking up the shots onto the back of ZEUS, who of course themselves got caught in quite a bit of an engagement. But now this is where we look to see what will happen, as we did see the players there from ZEUS ending it for the side of AKUMA KITSUNE. But now Join Me looking to find a decent rotation up in towards the zone. They've got one potential player, Power, now just here pretty close to Davan, looking to make that stand as they now inch their way forward, looking to sneak into zone.
I can Join Me Black as well be able to find their way into zone here. DK, ZEUS as well surviving off the south side. They've rotated their way down away from the fire line for now. SKYLIGHTZ Gaming also Lucky are going to be gate kept away by BANGKRIRK. The member advantage going towards them. Even Infinity as well. The solo player still alive. In Infinity, in need of so many points. Nia finds the knock onto one of member Join Me Black. Will be able to confirm that kill in. Second kill for them. Vital points as we now head into our final 7 teams.
Oh, Galaxy Racer still looking to gain their entry in towards the zone, but there's so many guns lined up ahead of them. It is going to be an insane challenge for them to try and squeeze on in. But of course now BANGKRIRK looking to make their stand, their play up in towards the north. But this is where the zone just gets absolutely brutal, as we see, of course, now putting the shots on through. And now we look on towards Ennis to see what they'll be able to do. 4 teams remain as we move into our 6th phase. Absolute insane bloody party, bloody fight that we've been having across the board. But now, Join Me, just holding on.
Look at those grenades fly in from Galaxy Racer. They look to try find so many of them. We don't find any of the members for now of BANGKRIRK. And a weird interaction there as well, coming through from Infinity. They went for the car drive in, understanding that FaZe 7 was behind them. But they get taken low down. They drive way too far into zone, and they actually fall out, which was a weird decision from understanding that they could have actually just driven in onto that western side, or should I say eastern front of that building, and actually have just walked their way in without having to drive around really much at all. There's indecision and indecisiveness like that also from the side of ZEUS, who rotate, as we say, so far around the map that when it comes to these faster phases, they're just not quite able to keep up with the level of rotations that's required.
Oh, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see just how these teams are planning to force those rotations as they now step up and ended therefore. Join me as Davan gets ended and of course gets sent right back into the lobby. But now 3 teams remain, 9 players left to fight it out. It is of course 3 players here for the side of Revenant. It is 2 remaining for the BANGKRIRK Esports team. And of course, Galaxy Racer looking absolutely phenomenal with a full squad, a full lineup, still ready and set to fight.
Although Galaxy Racer, as we say, they can hold on for now. BANGKRIRK, they are a 2-man squad. Side of Revenant, 3 members on the edge of the building. But for Revenant, the issue of how do you get out of the building? Galaxy Race is already setting up. They have the smoke low laden out, but as the second has passed as well, valuable time being wasted, and they can't move in. Yes, because the ridge lines of BANGKRIRK and also Revenant control. The Galaxy Race, if they do need to make a move, they need to be able to move their way into zone. Revenant struggling to do so, already losing one of their members.
Oh, I mean, BANGKRIRK, they're going to look to apply as much pressure as they can, keeping the players there. Oh, just in the danger zone a little while longer, but Galaxy Racer now looking to improve. But with that, of course, Revenant gets sent back at the hand of BANGKRIRK. But now Galaxy Racer comes rushing on over the ridge, rushing over the road, looking to claim the chicken, and they do. Beautiful, beautiful play coming in as the Galaxy Racer swoop in with the chicken dinner, finishing off on 6 kills.
Galaxy Racer, from not being able to make the EMEA League, they step up in the final game. In the Thunder Cup, they take the chicken dinner, and they show us why this Indian squad was built to try to conquer. In 6 kills already here in the final game was a much needed improved performance from them. They've been tackling difficult zones all day, difficult rotations, but this one, it worked out for them, and they take, as we say, the chicken dinner. BANGKRIRK as well, they're a second place in a row, also taking even more kills than before, with 8 in total. Keeping that consistency so important to maintain, as we say, and they're also in the 3rd placement point, the side of Revenant. They've been holding on as well to those top spots. We had previously 3rd position in game number 1, a 4th position in the previous Miramar game, at least able to improve that one more, taking once more 3rd position and 4 kills.
Absolutely phenomenal gameplay we've been seeing coming in over the 4 matches here today. But of course, this is only getting me excited to see what tomorrow's games will hold and what the teams will bring. I mean, already setting the bar so high in today's gameplay. But now, as we get ready to move on to the second day, what are your expectations coming into tomorrow? I mean, already today we've seen some phenomenal plays. Of course, Galaxy Racer now getting their first chicken here. Do you think we're going to see a continuation of that momentum flowing through into tomorrow?
I think momentum definitely going to be an important factor here. Expect as well FaZe CLAN to definitely step themselves up on those TPP matches in the first 3 games. Definitely have been doing so. But as well, I think a surprise series of teams then, BANGKRIRK and Revenant, definitely stepping their game in those future matches of the day up to another level. but also when we say to teams down below who also need to step their game up. And I think particularly those big hard hitter names like Nova definitely do need to improve. AKUMA as well, struggling even in that last game, just couldn't quite handle it against Join Me Black. And I think even to an extent there, also Join Me Black as well need to have a bit more consistency. Yes, they had a better game today in the fourth match, but they need to be able to keep improving from that. And you can see that the momentum, their adaptiveness definitely there, as we can say, but it is also to look to improve that even more and to keep that adaptiveness. Look at their games today and see what went wrong, and definitely it was those other game team fights.
Absolutely beautiful stuff. But of course, we'll be back again tomorrow as we continue on with the second day of the Thunder Cup prelims for Group B. But of course, be sure to check out on the Hindi broadcast that there is 3 more rounds, 3 more matches happening over there. But of course, that is going to be the end for us here today. Hope you guys have had an absolutely fantastic time. We surely enjoyed it, and we look forward to seeing you all back again tomorrow. Stay safe, have a good one, and of course, see you later.